So rather than asking yourself all the things like, how am I going to make this happen? Instead, just reframe it and consider asking, who do I need to become to start moving towards this thing that matters to me? Hey, I'm Jade Elysan, a multi-passionate creative based out of New York City who's obsessed with personal development and anything business, from marketing, branding, creating online programs to launches, and helping you step into your true self so that you can share your gifts with the world. Gain insights with manifesting, creating life on purpose, and get ready to elevate yourself in ways that will surprise even you. Included in your weekly dose of inspiration, get ready to be entertained, uplifted, and encouraged to take action with simple and easy to apply tips, tools, and strategies that fit into your busy daily life, sprinkled with some woo-woo along the way. From embracing your confidence to mastering success habits, setting achievable goals, and ways to harness positive mindsets and beliefs so that you can kick self-doubt and your inner critic to the curb where they belong. Whatever's on the topic call sheet, I'll help you navigate the raw, messy, and sometimes hilarious truths of achieving success, abundance, and happiness, all while encouraging you to become the best version of yourself. So think of me as your go-to girlfriend, talking over some coffee, getting real, and giving you some amazing advice to go from hot mess to thriving success. This is the Uber Savvy Life Biz podcast. Hey, welcome back to the Uber Savvy Life Biz podcast, where together we'll unlock your true potential and design the life and business of your dreams. I'm your host, Jade Elysan, and today we're talking about 4 secrets to taking imperfectly perfect action. So you may have listened to a previous episode of 5 keys to accomplishing your big dreams and goals through stressful times and might be feeling like, okay, well, what if I don't feel ready to take action on this big dream or goal yet? Maybe it's jumping into a new career or starting a new business endeavor or launching a new product and you are just almost like stopped in your tracks because you don't know how to do it. Or maybe it's doing something completely opposite with life, like an adventurous hobby, such as whitewater rafting or jumping out of an airplane or zip lining, to which all of those things my very adventurous mother has done. I think the most adventurous thing I've ever done was jump off a cliff in the Delaware Water Gap, which please, if you're watching this, don't do that. And please take caution of your life. The only reason I'm sharing that is because I was young and I wanted to impress my hubby at the time when we were dating. That was like over 20 years ago. So, also another reason you might not feel ready to take action on this big dream or goal is because it just, the thought of it could feel too big for you to do in this moment of your life. But what if instead of looking at it in a logical way, you were able to zoom out, take a step back, or even better yet, take a step forward and look at what it is that you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it? Because usually, and you hear it all the time, when we connect our why to a project, a goal, a personal desire, there's a lot more divine fuel that goes on in our solar plexus, our sun center, that makes us magnetize the circumstances, events, and people to make that happen. So rather than asking yourself all the things like, how am I going to make this happen? Instead, just reframe it and consider asking, who do I need to become to start moving towards this thing that matters to me? Because when you reframe it like that, and this episode is definitely more of that mindset and the foundational belief in yourself to do this big task or this big goal that you have set out in front of you. Because yes, I could give you the logical step-by-step way to get it, to put yourself out there and get it done. We're going to definitely get into that in another episode. But without this foundational key, the stability for following through when like an obstacle comes up or when there might be some roadblocks, I mean, I certainly want you to keep going and not give up. And that's why I'm making this episode first, to show up imperfectly perfect and take that action towards achieving your bigger dream or goal. You would also step into your future self and say, who is it that I want to be? And step into that energy and feel like you already accomplished this big dream or goal. Like you already learned that new language, that you're speaking fluently in French, or maybe you're speaking fluently in Hungarian or whatever other sexy language there is out there, but that you're confident and you're secure in yourself, because like I said, that's the foundation for anything. And when we choose progress over perfection, we're able to move towards our goals and dreams that matter to us. So, and by the way, if you're just jumping on to listening to this episode, if you want weekly inspiration and would like to stay updated when I release these new episodes, please check out jadeellison.com and sign up for the VIP newsletter, because you'll get access to the Empowered Morning Mindset Checklist, which is an awesome, completely free download you'll get just for signing up, and will give you the ultimate caffeine-free boost to supercharge your mornings for success. So before jumping into this topic fully today, I just wanted to share a little bit about the formula that I've used for myself to step into 5 completely different industries where I had literally no clue what I was doing. But I knew I had an interest and a dedication strong enough to follow through and learn and take those steps. And I'm going to be sharing that with you in just a moment. I remember this job I had when I was going to school for fashion design, and I was spraying perfume, and it was really good money per hour. And I was at Macy's Herald Square. There was this really beautiful woman. She approached me. We had said hi a few times as she passed by, and I knew that she was in one of the other departments. I didn't know what department she was in. And she stopped me one day and said, "What are you doing here? Don't you do makeup?" And I immediately answered, "Yes, I do." Because the first thought in my head was, of course I do makeup. I did makeup for all my girlfriends for prom, not saying that I used white or blue eyeliner at the time, which was the fashion trend. And who knows if that's a trend now. But she said, "Oh my God, well, come talk to me, because we need freelancers." And for those of you who might not know, a freelancer is an independent contractor that's a non-employee position that's usually paid like a 1099 and a little bit higher rate per hour. So that's like kind of a really cool side gig for anyone who's looking for ways to zhuzh up your income, is to look for freelance or contract work. And it's really similar to print work in the acting world, actually. But I digress. So I, at the time, even though I told her, "Yeah, of course I do makeup," I had no clue how to do makeup professionally. And she told me to come speak to her during her lunch break. So I did. She put me on the schedule immediately for the following week without having any makeup training on that brand. And I'm not going to say the brand that she brought me into, but I will tell you that the first day I showed up to the sales floor, and there was a really nice makeup manager that was there. I had no clue that the other person wasn't going to be there to greet me. So I'm going to make up the name. Let's just call her Sherry. The manager said, "No, Sherry's not here today. Sherry's the account executive." And I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. And she said, "No, the account executive, she goes to different stores. She's not always just at our store. She has 4 or 5 other stores that she's in charge of. It's our job to keep the flow going at our counter." And I thought, okay. So she saw me really looking at all the different makeups and the lip liners and eyeliners and trying to figure out what goes where. And she asked me what I was doing. And I said, "I didn't have training on your line." And she just looked at me like this blank look and said, "Well, it's Friday and we have to hit our sales, and this is the busiest day. So I need artists who know what they're doing." So she sent me home early, and I was so devastated. It was really discouraging, but there was this fire inside of me that felt like, even though I was bummed, I thought, "Gosh, I need to figure out how to do this, because I'd really love to do makeup. That's really cool. I didn't know that I could do this as a freelance gig like I was doing with spraying perfume." So I got a call from the account executive later that day. She asked me what happened. And then after going back and forth and talking, she realized I wasn't the person she thought I was that did makeup. She felt so bad. She asked me if I wanted to show up to the following next training that she had, which was a few weeks later, and I did. So the reason I share that is because that's what this entire episode is about, is showing up imperfectly perfect. And even from the earlier episode, the podcast itself, and you'll hear me speak about this in the first few episodes, the podcast itself is this new project for me. And sometimes it feels like, do I have imposter syndrome? I feel like I know what I'm talking about. I've coached incredible female entrepreneurs with their confidence on camera and shared with them how to create their online programs and speak to their ideal clients. But then I thought to myself, when it comes to doing this, am I doing it right? So thankfully, if you heard my thank you episode, which was a mini episode recorded for the bonuses, I did thank an incredible team that had helped me get my first episode up and out. So before I go on about that anymore, I just wanted to share with you that there are things that you could show up for, and the people, circumstances, and events will line up. And especially this podcast is a way for me to bring you ongoing value with topics that resonate with you so that I could encourage you to take your own inspired action in ways that matter to you along this messy journey called life. So, 4 secrets to taking imperfectly perfect action. And that's what we're going to uncover today. You know, one last thing before that. I have a girlfriend who I adore so much, and she's super talented and really creative. And she said to me, Jade, not everybody processes things like you to be able to just jump in and do something. But I want to share with you that this episode isn't about the process or the logical step by step to starting something and following through. This is literally about the mindset. So I'm thankful that you said that to me, because it like put a light bulb in my head and I thought, "Oh my goodness, it's not about the process. It's about the underlying belief system and that foundation." And that's what I was talking about earlier when I opened up this episode. So let's jump into the 4 secrets for taking imperfectly perfect action. And secret number 1 is having confidence with setting out to achieve your goal. And you might think, of course, Jade. I mean, if I was confident, I would be doing that thing. However, just stick with me for a minute. This is the inner work of the confidence that you already innately have with the things that you're good at. So that's the secret to aligning the energy that you already harness within you. And this is what I mean by that. Think about something you're really good at that you literally do not even have to think about when you do it. It could be whipping up an incredible, delightful dish, maybe creating an amazing dessert. It could be playing golf. It could be giving incredible advice to your friend. You could be an incredible listener. You might just be able to process solutions and see things that are outside of the box. Those things come to you so easily. You might be speaking 2, 3 languages and those come to you easily. That's the energy. That's the confidence that I'm talking about. That moment of knowingness within yourself, you don't even have to think about it. It just comes through you. So I want you to sit with that energy, write some of these things down too. If you're listening to this, you could pause the episode, grab a pen, and come back. I want you to write down the first 4 things that come to you super easily. Once you do that, I want you to sit in that energy, see how it feels, usually like around like your solar plexus, your heart area. Feel like that excitement that you have when you do it, or feel that like that certainty, that coolness. You're like, I got this. And now I want you to think about the goal that you'd like to achieve, that bigger dream or goal, whether it's with your business or life, or maybe you want to step into an incredible new relationship and magnetize your soulmate to you. Feel that confidence and feel what it would feel like, just as if that was already accomplished with that amazing goal or that dream that you have set out to. So it really starts with that. And also, confidence is about accepting your strengths and your quirks and your weaknesses and all of the things that make you you. I say this because I have a lot of incredible actors that I'm still close with, and some of you are listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the difference between booking a ton of work, or if you're a coach, getting a ton of clients, or if you're a business owner, attracting a ton of business. It's accepting who you are and just being lighthearted and being playful and kind of like making fun of yourself, if that makes any sense. I have an older brother, so he used to make fun of me like all the time growing up. And I mean, it was like a thing going back and forth. But if I didn't have that, I'm not sure that I would have built that inner strength from battling with him all the time with our words. I get along with him now that we're older, but if you have a sibling, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So, or even if you're an only child and you have cousins, who knows? But there's always those people in our family that kind of like push us to the edge that we have to like stand up to. And that's also another way of like harnessing that confidence. It also is a way to overcome that like self-doubt or that imposter syndrome that you might feel. And when you do that, you're able to step into your true brilliance, honestly. When I went to go record this episode the other day and then it just kept like, I don't know, the computer just kept crashing and I realized I had to like free up a lot of memory before I recorded this. I felt like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not supposed to do this episode. And I thought, that's crazy. Of course, I'm supposed to do this episode. It's my way of sharing that even though I'm here to support you and say, yes, you could do this. Yes, you could do this. It's okay to show up imperfectly perfect because we're not going to have everything figured out as we start. And we just have to trust those things are going to fill in, which I'll get to in a minute. And also, the other point with having your confidence to set out to achieve your goal is knowing what values you have that matter to you and knowing where you're willing to take a chance with yourself. So I am so thankful that I've had mentors, and I definitely encourage you to read books or resonate with anyone who's online programs that you could learn from. I have online programs. I'll share that in future episodes. But know what matters to you and know who could support you to encourage you to allow you to take that chance on yourself. Because if I didn't have the mentors that I had, I'm not sure I would be taking the chance on myself right now to even be filming this podcast for you. Maybe I would have just a YouTube channel and who knows how many videos I would just put out there and say, oh, I'll stop. But the podcast is different because there's a journey and because it's kind of like a marathon. There's a longer road ahead, right? And I would love to just continue to grow with you and learn from you and see what matters to you so I can bring episodes and topics and bring on guests that matter to you. And that would give me more confidence because then I know I'm speaking about something that matters to you. And that brings us to the next secret. But before I get into that, there is a university study that found individuals who set and work towards meaningful goals are more likely to experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment in their lives. And that's why you often hear the saying, you only live once, which brings us to secret number 2, which is be bold and put yourself out there. And there is, growing pains. They're real. You have to embrace discomfort and take that bold, courageous action despite uncertainty. And you do that by just taking the first step, finding out a little bit more about the goal that you want to achieve. If it's learning to go whitewater rafting, please don't just jump into a boat and expect to stay put because that is like really that's like a really risky sport. You would obviously have a guide and you would obviously take a mini class. They would tell you to wear a life jacket. They would probably put straps and show you how to use those straps and show you different hand signs to use if you're in danger. So obviously there is going to be uncertainty, but then you find out the things that are necessary to learn to move towards achieving this thing that you want to step into. And another way is speaking your voice, because when you speak your voice and you say, hey, I need help on this thing, trust me, of all people, I am probably the last one to ask for help. So I'm a crabby Cancer. My birthday is in July, and it's so much easier for me to help others and be there for others. And it's hard for me to ask for help. So when you hear me ask to rate the episode 5 stars, like I get a knot in my throat and think, oh my God, is that too much of an ask? And I think, no, if you're listening to this and this resonates with you, it's super duper helpful. And you know what? That's good energy that you're putting out, and that will come back to you. So I just know that when you speak your voice, it allows you to put that energy out into the ethers, whether you pray to God or a higher power or divine spirit, your words are heard. and they grab onto the ethers, and anything that is necessary to help you achieve your goal will fill in. And also, when it comes to speaking your voice, being able to say what you want to say without worrying if it's right or wrong. We're all doing our best. We're all coming from different ways that we grew up. We're coming from different backgrounds. Gosh, my mom and dad come from completely different backgrounds. That's probably why communication is so important to me. My dad is Egyptian and my mom is Filipina, and they met here. And my dad had the biggest crush on my mom because they both worked at the same hospital. My dad was working in the lab, and my mother was working on the nursing floor in the OR. And his boss wanted to change his coffee time one day. They had the same coffee break. So he'd always see her at the lunchroom, but he'd never ask her out. And one day he said, "No, don't change my lunch break. I have to ask this beautiful woman out." And it ended up being my mom. So if he didn't end up marrying my mom, I think I'd be half Egyptian and half British. It's probably why I love speaking in a British accent, because his girlfriend in Egypt was from England, I'm pretty sure. So I digress. But that's what I mean, without worrying if what you're gonna say is right or wrong. He went up to her. I really don't remember what his first conversation was, but he was brave, he was bold, he took action, and he asked her out. So, if that next goal for you is stepping into a relationship with somebody who's in your life that matters to you, and maybe you just haven't told them how much they mean to you, maybe it's you taking that first step and saying, "You know what? I love you. Like, let's see where this goes." I was gonna go into a Ron Burgundy and say something, but I forgot what that particular phrase was that he said. It's like, "Hey-oh." And then lastly, with being bold and putting yourself out there, you take action and just trust that when you start to research and do the things that are gonna help fill in this particular goal of yours, that everything will fall into place. And if that means taking a course or signing up for a program or doing some self study through a book or asking some friends or mentors who might be a few steps ahead of you, then definitely do that. Because if you are bold enough to speak your voice, then you'll have that support from somebody who wants to help you. Like me, I want to help you. That's the whole purpose of this Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast, is to unlock your true potential and help you live a life and business that you've always dreamed of. And I really mean that. And even if that means just doing things that you're passionate about, allowing more hobbies to fill into your life, that's the passion that I'm talking about. That's what lights us up. And that brings us to secret number 3, embracing the ebb and flow in life. And I'm going to also say embracing the wholeness of life's effery, because sometimes there's going to be obstacles and detours, and you're going to think, OMG, do I keep going? Am I supposed to do this thing? Like when I was filming this episode a few nights ago, I thought, oh, this shouldn't be an episode showing up in Perfectly Perfect. And I thought, no, I'm going to just be logical. I'm going to go straight into teaching or sharing 5 steps of making any goal happen from A to Z. And I thought, yeah, that's what I should do. But that's not what I needed to come out with first. The foundation of your belief system and that confidence in being bold and embracing the wholeness of life and the ebb and flow of life, that foundation, you have that core stability. No matter what logical step-by-step action plan I share with you in an upcoming episode, you'll be able to do it. And I know that because your foundation will be stable. And because when I have a stable foundation, I know that I'm able to take action in a way that is highest and best for myself and for others who are involved. So just know that there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be detours, but that doesn't mean that you need to stop and quit. All that means is you get to step back, look at what you've accomplished, reassess, look at what your to-do list is and think, is this necessary right now? Is there something else that I need to learn to put into place? maybe I just need to clean up some things before moving forward with this process. For me, it was cleaning up my desktop to make space so that I could record on this incredible software for you and put out this episode for you to hear in a way that sounds lovely in your ears. At least that's my hope. So, also, another thing to do, as I mentioned, is to reassess these signs, because then you see, does this matter enough for me to keep moving forward? And for me, the podcast does. It matters to me. It really does. And that's why I did move forward. And that's why I meditated on it and realized I'm absolutely going to share 4 secrets to taking imperfectly perfect action. That's the raw, messy truth of this podcast and the premise of just helping you shine your greatest gifts, talents, and unique abilities to other. And if it means doing that in business, awesome. If it means doing that in your life, awesome. That's what is going to help keep you going. So that brings us to the middle of the episode. If you are enjoying this, it would be so incredible if you could share this with 3 friends who you feel would really resonate with this episode. And if you could give it 5 stars on the podcast app you're listening to, because it truly does help get in front of more like minds like you, it would be amazing. It allows me to help you bring more content like this. And also, don't forget to visit jadeellison.com to grab your freebie, the Empowered Morning Mindset Checklist, so that you can get signed up for the VIP newsletter and get weekly inspiration delivered straight to your inbox. And that brings us to the last secret, which is secret number 4, ultimate trust mode. Now, this is a chapter in my book, and that's coming out next year. And I love this thought process, this foundation, ultimate trust mode. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's times that I think like, should I be trusting the thoughts in my head? Should I be trusting all this intuition that comes? And you do. You have to honor this intuition and tap into this guidance to make better aligned decisions. And you do that by meditating, which I've mentioned in a previous episode. When you meditate or you just do a breathing practice, you're able to get clear, you're able to get centered, you're able to hear yourself. And you also have to know with ultimate trust mode that once you take the first step, as I kept saying throughout this episode, the universe is going to fill in the people, circumstances, and events to give you the tools, the help, and the insights necessary for you to accomplish this thing that matters to you. And that everything is going to unfold as it should. And if that means that there's going to be obstacles and detours or ebbs and flows, that's just part of the reassessment to see if you're moving in the right direction or if you need to reframe where you're going to move this project and allow it to infuse more of that excitement and energy. Because when you come from a place that's excited and like gives you that fuel, you're more likely to accomplish it. If it starts to become this task, gosh, that's not at all what I'm sharing with you to do. I want you to be excited about setting out to achieving a dream or goal that you've had. And I want it to matter to you. And I want to be able to give you that foundation in this episode to let you know that things are going to unfold as they should. Do what you can to prepare, research, put everything in order in a way that makes sense to you. And like I said, I'll really dive into the strategy of achieving a goal in another episode. But right now, just work on that foundation. And if you have an idea right now and you got that pen and notepad out from earlier in the episode, write down some steps that might be coming right now. Because if you're getting ideas, it's because I'm helping opening up that tap of your wonderful intuition of your true self, sharing with you things that will help move you forward to learning that new language or going whitewater rafting or stepping into a new relationship or launching that incredible new product for your business that you've been wanting to, or starting an online program or coaching business. There's so much fulfillment. The possibilities are endless. Also, know, like I said, everything's going to line up, the perfect circumstances, people, and events, and that we all have our own unique gifts and combinations and ways that we set out for it. So there is no right or wrong. You just have to do what resonates with you. So those are the 4 secrets, which are the premise of showing up imperfectly perfect and taking action. And that's the underlying commitment to yourself at the task at hand. And I'd love to leave you with this quote, which I'm sure you've heard so many times. It's Steve Jobs. He shared this at his Stanford commencement speech back in 2005, but it's such a famous quote, and you could probably finish it. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You could only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, your destiny, your karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down and has made all the difference in my life. Goosebumps, right? So that brings us to the end of the episode. And I'm just going to recap on the main takeaways for 4 secrets to taking imperfectly perfect action. The first one was confidence with setting out to achieve your goal. And that's that inner work. That's finding something that you're already amazing at, sitting in that energy, writing those things down, feeling what that feels like. And then now looking at your goal that you want to achieve, whether in business or life, and then sitting with that, realizing that it might feel out of your comfort zone, but harness that confidence, that energy of something that you're ready good at. Feel it in your heart. Now look at this other thing that you want to achieve and just like step into it with that confidence. And that's that foundation that you need for any achievement of anything. It's that core foundation. And once you do that, you can get from where you are to where you want to be. And accepting all your strengths, your fun quirks, your strengths, your weaknesses, everything that makes you you, being able to make fun of yourself and be lighthearted about this situation and overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome, stepping into that true brilliance and knowing those values that matter to you, and be willing to take a chance on yourself. And if that means taking an online program, reading a book, finding a coach who you resonate with, I'll share in future episodes how you could work with me in my programs. But right now, find something that will allow you to take that chance on yourself, because you matter, your goals matter, and you can make it happen. I promise you that. It's just your mindset, and mindset and belief over everything is literally what has allowed me to achieve the success I've had in 5 completely different industries. I'm not saying that you need to do 5 completely different industries, but I want that for you in whatever it is. It might even just be 5 incredible life achievements, like speaking French fluently, traveling 3 months of the year, knowing how to play a par 4 in golf. I'm just saying that. I don't even know what that means, but whatever resonates with you, just be willing to take a chance on yourself. Okay. And then secret number 2 is being bold and putting yourself out there, being able to speak your point with ease, allowing yourself to have some discomfort with those first steps of taking action despite that uncertainty, and knowing that asking for help without worrying if what you're asking for was right or not, that you'll be guided and your true self will guide you, because innately, we all know what to do. Innately, we know we have to research, or we know we have to take a class, or we know we have to read a book or look for guidance from someone else who's a few steps ahead of us. We innately know that, and you do too. So just be bold, put yourself out there, and see the magic of what comes to help you through the universe's alignment. And secret number 3 with taking imperfectly perfect action is embracing the ebb and flow in life, AKA life's effery, because we know that there's going to be obstacles. We know there's going to be detours, but that doesn't mean stop when things aren't going right. It just means take a break, reassess, look at what you're doing and say, hey, maybe I just need to pause this right now. Maybe I just need to clean some things up. In my case, it was my desktop, but in your case, it might be doing like a little tidying in your house, or just getting clear with your thoughts about what matters to you. Infusing that purpose into your daily actions and finding meanings on your journey. That's literally what's going to keep you going. And the last secret was secret number 4, ultimate trust mode, and honoring that incredible intuition within yourself and tapping into that true guidance. to make aligned decisions. And that's through meditating, which I've shared about in another episode, and taking those first steps and knowing that the universe is going to fill in the right people, circumstances, and events. A really wonderful unfolding. And the more clear you are, the more clear the unfolding can be. So yes, take imperfectly perfect action, but sit with that energy, like I said, with your confidence to set out to achieve that goal. In secret number one, sit with that, because when you're confident and then you envision feeling that goal already having manifested, it will be so much more fun when it does. And know that you'll have everything you need at the right time, and that we all have our own unique gifts, talents, and combinations of what we set out to achieve, and the perfect combination will show up just for you. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for listening to the end of this episode. If you want to take it further, I'd love to hear your takeaways wherever you're listening at. If you're able to comment, definitely comment on the episode and let me know what specific secret resonated with you in this episode. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast. Embrace the journey, stay committed to your vision, take consistent action, and know that great things are on the other side of that door. Because remember, only you hold the key to unlock your dream life. So why not start today? I'll see you next time. Can I just say, you're awesome. You just finished an episode of the Uber Savvy Life and Biz podcast. If you like this episode, feel free to leave a nice review and rate it 5 stars if you found it helpful. But if not, please don't rate it 4 stars. Just ignore this part. However, if you did like it, make sure you share it with a friend who may find some value in the topics discussed today. Be sure to share it with them, because you never know who you could uplift. Also, if you want more, check out the show notes in the description, which would include any links that may have been mentioned in this episode. Are you still listening? Are you waiting for a blooper reel? That'd be a really fun idea to throw in the times. But seriously, are you tired of foggy mornings? Go to jadeelysan.com to grab your ultimate caffeine-free boost to supercharge your mornings for success. That's right, your empowered morning mindset checklist. Your great day is just a thought away. May this go well, please. May it go well. This is take 2, episode 2, only because when I was recording the other night, well, I like recording during the daytime because the lighting is so much better. Let's be serious. But I like recording in the daytime because I have more energy. However, when I was recording the other night, it literally just stopped recording several times on my particular app. And it was really such a bummer because I thought to myself, like, are you kidding? I was 20 minutes in an episode. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let me just refilm the whole thing. All right, cool. So you ready? Let's see. Hi. This is all fun. This is fun because then you could use it for the blooper reel, right? Okay, cool. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's mark this. Mark this magic. I love you. If you're still watching, thank you so much. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.